All right, welcome back to our coaching network. Finishing off the week strong. We didn't plan to do this, but it's a bunch of wide receiver talk. I think it's been a great week. And I love how each talk has been different. I think this is another great addition to that. Coach Brandon Lemon, he is the Charleston Southern wide receivers coach. And tonight we are talking how his wide receiver evaluation process mirrors his teaching progression. Coach, go ahead, take it from here.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate everyone that's on today. Let's see if I can get my clicker. Obviously, you hit on me. I figure I just go really quickly kind of through my background. Obviously, I have a lot of people to thank for this opportunity I have here at Charleston Southern. Just recently got added the pass game coordinator title. I'm still trying to figure out what that entitles. But pretty much my whole career, as you kind of see here, is a lot of receiver stuff. Played corner in college. Coach corner is my first job at Methodist University. Had the opportunity to go on to the other side of the ball. Really got a chance to learn a lot, really about what the DBs do. So a lot of things I teach now is, in regards to teaching those guys what DBs are doing. And, I've been so fortunate to be, around a lot of really good coaches. So I have a lot to thank from that standpoint. So moving on, big thing with my presentation, kind of wanted to do something a little different. I know a lot of guys talk receiver play and all the details and different drills. And obviously those things are great. Something that I, running through, with a couple guys here at CSU, trying to figure out something a little unique to the way I do things. So really when I'm talking about my evaluation process, kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight was a lot of how my evaluation in regards to recruiting, my evaluation in regards to our current guys, how that all translates to my teach progression. I really like to mirror all those things. I think they got to go hand in hand, especially when you are trying to find guys that are better than what you have in your group currently. So, something I kind of stumbled upon last year in regards to just the evaluation process is now I tell guys really, first and foremost, the thing they're going to be evaluated on is availability. Obviously, that can mean multiple things. COVID brought another situation, right? So sometimes it's out of your control, being quarantined or possibly one of the guys that are positive and in isolation. You're talking about injury. You're talking about eligibility. You're talking about all those different things. So that's step one for me is, are you available, right? If you're available, it gives you an opportunity to be evaluated. All right, moving on to the next phase of it really is execution, right? So once you take the opportunity, right, those reps you get in practice, those reps you get in games, right? Now you're being evaluated on how clear you are on your execution. Okay, so it's all about alignment, assignment, all right, and execution from my standpoint, right? And that's going to earn you more playing time, right? That's going to get you in the rotation. And then I move on to production. Production for me really is that dude, that guy's going to make a ton of plays for us. I feel if you can do the first part, availability, you can do the second part with your execution and then move on and be a guy that produces. You're going to be a guy that is featured in our offense. So those are really those three right there was something that, last fall kind of hit me. It's something I'm holding guys to, and I think it's pretty fair before you really get into the position-specific evaluation, right? So when I look on that, I'm talking about film and in person, right? So a lot of cases, film, it's recruits, okay? In person, obviously, is recruits in summer camps. Obviously, this last evaluation phase was huge for a lot of us in college, just getting a chance to see guys move around, really see them grow from the fall phase, right? That's about 6 to 8 months ago of tape, really trying to see what they look like now. In person also goes for our current players here. That's something that's obviously huge for us to really see their growth and see where they're at. So my evaluation process or the phases I really look at, especially when you're talking about film and in person, all right, is wiring, right? So we'll really get into that in the next couple of slides. It's exactly what I'm thinking about when it comes to wiring. I think it's a phase, right? I think we can all find the most talented player, right? But in my eyes, right, why is there so many times where the the most talented guy doesn't pan out, right? And I don't think we've dived good enough into the mental aspect, right? The attitude, really at the end of the day, why that guy is, what is he wired like? And something obviously, having the opportunity to be at Notre Dame, talking with other schools, this is a big factor in their evaluation. And it's something that I have in this new recruiting phase is something that I'm really trying to take away in that evaluation. Second part to me, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? I think the most important phase, all right, starts with the acceleration phase, right? I call it the get off phase, right? So that's your stance, that's your start. All right. So obviously in regards to recruiting, all right, I don't judge too much on stance, right? Because at the end of the day, they may not be coached. That may be what they're coached, right? But really, I'm just trying to evaluate how quickly they get off the line of scrimmage, how quickly do they gain ground on that DB. I think for me, like I said, is the most important phase of building a wideout. And then the deceleration phase, right? Or the top of the route. All right. I know everyone has different top of the route, break points, all those different things. For me, is how quickly and how efficiently and fluidly can you stop at the top of your route, change direction, and gain speed to really create separation. All right. So that's number 2 for me. Number 3, all right, is the catch phase, right? Obviously, we all know him. We've all seen him, right? The fastest dude out there can't catch a pole, right? Every time I think of Clifford Franklin from The Replacements. All right, I'm almost certain the dude dropped a Twinkie, then stepped on it, right? But those are the type of guys, right? I think sometimes you're so focused on speed, all right? And we got to understand that guys are going to be asked to catch the football. They're going to have to make contested catches. They're going to have to rebound and go get it, right? That's what they're going to have to do. And ultimately, that's what they're paid to do. All right. And then the next phase there is the run game phase. So when we talk about a run game phase, for me, it's in 2 parts, all right? I talk about being as a ball carrier and I talk about as a run blocker, right? Those are both very important, right? And then some additional areas. And again, I'll get into some slides here and kind of get going a little bit. I do apologize. Let's see if I can get this thing rolling. All right. So teach progression, right? At the end of the day, the topic, how's my evaluation process? All right. How is my evaluation process mirror my teach progression, right? So again, I kind of hit on it. All right. A little different in regards to on tape and in person, right? I don't really, from a release phase, that's something I don't evaluate on tape when looking at recruits, right? Again, sometimes you're not coached to do. And honestly, for me, I really like to just see how they can defend, how they can combat some type of press, some second level, collision there, right? And then you really get to number 6. Didn't have that in my evaluation phase, but that's a route-specific phase. And we'll get into that here in a second when it comes to that. All right, so we already hit on it. All right, wiring. All right, so for me, when I'm looking at tape, all right, when I'm looking at person, all right, we're talking about your physicality. All right, I don't believe in being soft. I don't believe in being a finesse wideout. It's just something it drives me nuts. Fortunately, during my time at Notre Dame, I really got a chance to see, the physicality part, right? Getting on the one-man sled, really focus on moving guys on the perimeter. And that was something I always wanted to be. For a wideout guy, I'm all about 11, 12 personnel, 22, 13, 14, just physical style of ball. That's something I'm definitely all about. And I think at the end of the day, when you're talking about home run, all right, home run, we're talking about wideouts making that last touchdown block. So that's imperative for me. That's something that's big. Physicality, we're talking about as a run blocker, all right, as a ball carrier, all those things. Playmaking ability. All right, and you'll see all these. I really, truly think it's innate. I think it's innate. I think you're born with it. I don't think it's something that you can coach it all up. And I think, yes, you can get better. At the end of the day, it's fight or flight. And that's just my opinion. All right, I'm sure there's someone out there that's an expert that can tell me the other side of that. But playmaking for me is, right? A guy that's creative with the ball, right? I'm not talking about backyard football, but a guy that just has a great feel for the field, the ability to make guys miss, all right, and just has a natural feel for how to make plays, all right? And again, I think that is innate. Willingness to block, right? Are you going to step forward or are you going to step back at the point of attack? All right, again, I think that is innate, right? I think you can get on the one man, you can preach about being physical, you can preach about not being soft and all the other words that you can use, right? But at the end of the day, right, when you go out in that game, all right, at the end of the day, when that moment or that second happens, they're just going to react, okay? And I think that's innate, okay? So do you step forward or you step back on contact, okay? Willingness to catch the ball in traffic, right? All right, you got to be gutsy, right? You got to have some cojones on you, all right? Some guys are alligator arms, some guys will shy away from it, some guys will purposely take a bad angle at the ball, very much like a poor defender, right? He's going to take a bad angle so he doesn't have to go in there and try to take his shot on the ball carrier. Willingness to rebound, okay? Again, we can do all the high point and drills, right? That's why I love hoopers, all right? I love hoopers because I think at the end of the day, those guys are natural rebounders, right? They're used to going up and snatching the football. Very much, again, all right, like the blocking, all right, when the ball's in the air, do you go and attack it in the air, all right? Or you're a guy that fades away to the sideline and tries to let it fall into your arms, okay? And then willingness to finish runs, all right? So again, are you a guy that's searching for the sideline and trying to run out of bounds? Or are you a guy that's going to split the X, drop your pads, and run through contact, okay? Are you going to throw the stiff arm? You're going to do things of that nature, all right? That, in my mind, those are all things of looking at a guy wired, right? So you see it on tape with recruits, you see it with your current players, all right? And those are things that I like to evaluate and is a big deal to me, all right? I put some film. Obviously, those guys have done a lot of these clinics, right? I'm sure you've seen a ton of tape. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a ton in here, right? So listen, most physical wideout I've ever seen, all right, and it looks like he's still doing it in the league, is Chase Claypool. I mean, that dude, you're talking about wired. I mean, that dude was a SOB, that's for sure. All right, so these are things I try to show guys about physicality, right? At the end of the day, right, you can talk about run technique, all that. It's a want-to do, right? You got to be willing and you got to want to, right? And you got to love it. And this guy right here, he would just consistently beat on defenders, right? All right, so I got one or two more clips of him. So when I think of wired and I think of run blocking, I think about physicality, right? I think about Chase Claypool, right? Are we going to get Chase Claypool here at CSU? All right, we're not going to get Chase Claypool that looks like that, but there's dudes that are wired just like him. And that's my job. All right, it's our assistant receiver coach, Lake Lowe's job. All right, we got to go and find that guy. All right, so we can really beat on the skirts out there on the perimeter. I think I might just have one more here. All right. So this should be at the top of the screen here. All right, but again, like I said, man, you never had to tell Chase, all right, dude, you got to be physical, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had to walk him to the locker room in the middle of practice because that dude just hate losing, right? Hate losing, right? He would beat on our guys. He beat on these guys, right? And at the end of the day, that's the guy I'm trying to go find. That's the guy I'm trying to coach, all right? You talk about fight or flight, all right, that guy's going to fight every time. All right, moving on to the acceleration phase, all right? So acceleration phase, evaluation, right? We talk about the get off. That's the start. Okay, so again, as a recruit, all right, I don't judge stance, right? That's what you're taught, all right? I've had a couple coaches this spring ask me, hey, some things from a receiver standpoint, would you recommend me working? I said, man, really work on the stance, right? Because you can't tell a guy to accelerate off the ball, right? If he's false stepping, right? If he's, you double tap the front foot, you tap the back foot. All right, there's a knee bend, right? You're locking out your back legs, and you naturally have to go and bend when the ball is snapped, right? Those are those things. If you work on them now, those guys will get off the ball faster, right? At the FCS level, yes. All right, I would say there are 4'4" guys you can get at this level, and usually they are small in stature, okay? But so you're sitting between a 4'6", 4'7" type of guy, all right? Is how quickly can I get him, all right, to close ground? All right, to close ground. So I always evaluate that. Foot quickness, right? We're talking about verse press, okay? So obviously I like big wideouts. All right, the guys on the offensive staff joke that I got a type. I do have a type, right? I like length. I like big dudes that go up there, play physical, things of that nature, right? But I won't take a big dude with slow feet, right? You can be as big as you want, but if you can't get all press, all right, one with your feet, two with your physicality, then there's no point to have a big dude out there, in my opinion. All right, and then we're talking about long speed. All right, when I evaluate long speed, all right, I look at two things. All right, are you a build to speed guy? Right, so it's, I mean, we got one of the guys here, Jarrell Smith. All right, he is the slowest fast person I ever met. Right, 4'5" guy, but boy, his 10 split, his 20 split got to be, it's got to be bad. Right, I could probably beat him in a 10-yard race. Right, but best believe I'm peeling off after that, because that cat can really roll. So we're really trying to clean up the stance. But again, I think a lot of guys are built like that. All right, you talk about it in track all the time, right? You see 100-meter dash guys. All right, some of these guys winning late. Those guys are built to speed guys. Well, on the football field, you're talking about the cushions anywhere from 7 to 10, 7 to 12, right? So we don't got all day to get you going. Plus, when you throw a defender in there, right, there's a start and stop ability, all right, or a moment. And if you take longer to get to your full speed, right, I mean, we're going to get sacked, all right? So I really look for guys that are quick to speed, those guys that are fast off the ball, right? I'll take a dude that's quick to speed, all right, and listen, be a 4.6 guy. But in his first 20, all right, his first 30, right, I don't think anyone's going to be able to run with him, all right? And at that point, right, hopefully we catch the ball, and now we're just trying to outrun the defense. And then getting to my teach progression, just trying to mirror it, we talk about stance, right? So that's something I got to break a lot of bad habits. We work on it all the time, consistently work on it all the time, all right? And you can see a little bit of faster guys coming off the ball, and just trying to get them to understand we're trying to close the ground as fast as possible, right? So it starts with stance, starts with moves on to your get off, all right? And then, you know, so when I look at that, right, so Mike Young here played for us at Notre Dame, transferred to Cincinnati, had a great career there, all right? But this is a dude, all right, that really got off the ball, right? You see the stance, obviously, they ain't much of a false step, to be honest, right? But he gets going, right? You see the DB getting out there, all right? I'm almost sure this is Tariq Bracy. He's a young guy, all right, but a guy that I'm pretty sure he started at least 20, 30 games at Notre Dame in his career. All right, but again, it's about just closing the ground, right? Get the DB out of his pedal, get him uncomfortable, right? And it all starts with the speed, all right, off the ball, right? Back in the near hip, love all that stuff, all right? Second part to that, right, is the deceleration phase. So I break that into your pad level, okay? So when I talk about pad level is, all right, we're talking about the top of the route. Can you drop your hips, all right, fluidly, all right? There's too many guys you'll see sit back in the chair. You'll see too many guys standing straight up. Right, we don't have time, all right, we don't have time to lose ground at the top of the route. Again, fast off the ball, now it's create separation when you get in and out of breaks, okay? So, you know, the things I really hit on is flexibility, right? I stare at that, I look at that, right? I think in-person evals are the best way to really see it, okay? All right, because stiff dudes, all right, struggle getting out of the top of the route, okay? All right, so when I get to number 2, I'm talking about hip flexibility and mobility, okay? So really just trying to see a guy that can easily drop his weight. All right, we're talking about any from 2 to 3, right? Perfect world, 2 to 3 steps to the top of the route, you should be getting out, okay? Obviously, that's something we all train our guys, all right, at our level, all right? It might take another step, all right, more, okay? But the best dudes, right, Julio Jones, those guys, I mean, it's like 2 steps. All right, and in other guys' cases, maybe 3 steps, and they're out of their break, okay? But again, I think it starts with a lot of that flexibility and mobility, all right? And in regards to that, when we really rate that and evaluate that as a recruit, we're seeing your ability to roll, all right? So you're talking about speed cuts out of your route, any outs, any sails, any digs, all right, depending on what type of route tree you run, all right? And can you reduce angles? All right, can you reduce angles, right? Are you going to be able to stick your foot in the ground and really bend, all right, on an outbreaker, right? I mean, we used to work on it sometimes to be a 6 to 8 yard out, but then we're saying 6 to 8 to 6, right? Do you have the ability to actually run that route and cut down the intercept angle? I think that's huge. Body control, right? So again, this is, can you adjust in the air, right? You think of back shoulder catches, right? How many times have we seen guys that just cannot open up their hip? rotate their hip and go catch the football, right? There's stiffness there, right? There's stiffness there, right? You can see a lot of the body control issues when they're playing DB, all right, when they're a returner, all right? Are they stumbling when they catch the football? All those things I look at, right? You're talking about the top of the route. And then the change of speed ability, right? So COS for me, right? We're talking about how quickly can you stick your foot in the ground and accelerate the other direction, right? That's, for me, all right, that's where we really create a lot of separation. So that's something we drill a lot here. All right, I'm not a big drill, got all these fancy, drills that you do out there. We work our route tree, we work the top of the route. Maybe it's anywhere from 5 to 7 yards, but we're focusing on, all right, the acceleration phase, all right, and then really down to fluidly drop our hips. And then I want to see a glaring change of speed, all right, at your landmark or at your depth. Again, going to teach progression, we're talking about the top of the route. All right, we're talking about the fundamentals. All right, gather, break steps. Everyone's got different turns, and then the lead step, right? So, for me, I talk about different routes. When you get into the lead step, it's turning that front foot, all right, inward, depending on the angle you're breaking at, right? So the further you bring, all right, you turn your foot inside towards your body, all right, the easier it is to change directions, all right, and work back at a 45, right? Too many times guys run comebacks, right, and they open up at a 90. All right. In a lot of the cases, if you look at that lead step, that last foot that hits the ground, all right, that's the issue there. All right. So that's something just trying to train those guys is a little uncomfortable, but once they get the hang of it, right, they'll really feel good and understand, all right, this is going to help me set my angle, get me to my landmark, and again, try to help me, all right, create separation. All right. All right. So this is Mike Young again. All right. But again, you're talking about the top of the route. All right. Good speed again. 1, 2, right? Again. All right, there's not a lot of start and stop, right? That guy's able to come in there, boom, boom, all right, and then he's full speed out of there, right? Full speed out of there, okay? That's a tough route, all right? So again, obviously it's recruiting, but it's also just drilling it over and over and over again until guys get comfortable, all right? And then I talk about different types of cuts, right? The 45 degree, the 90 degree, retrace right back down your stem, all right, the speed cut, and any type of variation, right? Some type of double move, so. Again, just trying to, talk about the different, different cuts there. All right, moving on to the release phase. Let me go back to that. All right, release phase here. All right, so I break it up again. When we look at recruits, this isn't something I judge guys on. All right, but, our guys now, when we're teaching, we go from line of scrimmage releases. Let's see if I can get this thing to pause. I apologize, guys. But we're talking about footwork. We're talking about hand combat. All right, we're talking about combos. All right, this obviously Exos really wants me to move forward. All right, we talk about second level, any type of footwork. All right, hand combat, any type of combos. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. Obviously, if I'm on here again, all right, I'll get a chance to hopefully, all right, talk more about, my teach progression, all right, in more detail. Let's see if I can get this thing going. All right, catch phase. All right, so again, obviously the wideout, you got to catch the football. All right, right. I think it's the funniest coaching point I always hear all the time from players and coaches: catch the ball. Right. And again, I think a lot of guys, it does come natural. I think a lot of it has to do with hand-eye coordination. All right. So, do you catch the ball with strong hands? Right. Does it come easy? Some guys, it looks like they snatch the ball out of the air. All right, as if it's just like a small volleyball, right? So that's something I really track, really trying to get a gauge on, all right, the hand-eye coordination. I think that's huge, right? Some of those things, I think if your eyes are bad, all right, your hand-eye coordination is bad, all right, I think you're always going to have issues with that guy. I know it's easy to diagnose guys with poor eyesight and things of that nature, right? I think it really does come down with hand-eye coordination, all right, and be able to locate the football. Tracking the ball, we're talking about over the shoulder, any type of deep balls, right? You'd be surprised, right? I say surprised. I'm actually not surprised, but the amount of guys, when the ball's in the air, they lose it, right? I know I've heard guys that are big, fans of outfielders in baseball, right? Because that's what they do. Obviously that's obviously a big big sport to help you locate the football, but, can you track the ball in the air? All right. Can you go back and go get it? All right. Can you turn over your inside shoulders and back to your outside and go get it? All right. Those are things that are very, very difficult catches. Right. And again, those are things you got to find out on film and in person. Okay. And your catch radius. Right. All right. For how much we'd love to all have Tom Brady and all these accurate quarterbacks. Right. Not all of us have the luxury of that. Right. So can you go and make, all right, catches above the head, outside the framework, to your right, to your left, low balls. All right. Some things you got to go and actually dig out, right, and really get underneath. Okay. So do you have those abilities? All right. So, I go into length. I think length plays a big part in your catch radius. So I like your arm length. I like the wingspan. Those are things I look for. All right. And then rebound ability. Okay. Rebounding ability. So when the ball's up in the air, how well can you go up and climb and get the football, right? There's the willingness we talked about in wiring, all right? But the ability part is, are you explosive, right? Obviously, yes, verticals sometimes translate, but very much like a guy that's very strong in the bench press, right? We've all seen guys that won't move a soul on the football field, right? So I got to see it be functional, all right, explosiveness there when the ball's in the air. All right, so we're going to teach progression, right? You're talking about your fundamentals, all right? Honestly, Bobby Acosta was at Syracuse, and we were just going through his drill tape. I mean, this might have been 7 years ago when I was at St. Lawrence. And he was like, do you teach your guys how to catch a football? Or has anyone ever taught you how to catch a football? And I was like, no. Like, I thought it was the silliest thing ever. And we went through it. And, he talked about locking your eyes. I know there's the diamond. I know there's the U. Everyone's got different philosophies to that. He talked about the slight flexion in the elbows, right? The flexion in your elbows is going to take the steam off the football. All those things. And I was just like, wow. I always expected that you play wideout, you know how to catch. But those are things that we start with the basics with our guys, all right, and really trying to hone in on those things. When we're doing ball drills and things of that nature, those are the things we're really trying to focus on. Types of catches. Low ball, right? Anything below the belly button and navel, right? Eyes down, right? To help you get your eyes down. You're talking about tucking your chin to your chest. Anything high, right? You're talking about putting your nose as far back as possible. I always tell guys, OBJ, obviously, he's a freak, right? But what OBJ does an amazing job of, if you see a lot of those snapshot crazy pictures that, catches he has, right? It's because he's literally, the back of his head is almost touching, all right, the small part of the top of his back. All right, so it's really trying to get your nose up and be able to get your eyes up, because you got to be able to see the football. All right, so those little details we try to work on. Over the shoulder, okay, late and high hands. All right, those are things. Scott Brisson at Lehigh, we used to go pat and go, and it was really the first time someone really coached up pat and go in regards to what we were working on. I thought that part was huge. High and late hands. Sideline catches, I tell guys, always focus on 2 feet. You're guaranteed to get one. So those are those big things there. All right. You're talking about catch radius. You're talking about body control. You're talking about, just really the ability to go and catch the football. Again, this guy, Kevin Stephenson, KJ Stephenson, in my time at Notre Dame, probably the most talented receiver we had. Obviously, he had some things that distracted him from ultimately being a dude in the NFL. But this guy, I tried to pull his practice tape stuff up because he's the loosest hip guy. He makes everything look easy. He's smooth, but he's cruising, right? There wasn't many guys that really could cover him. His freshman year, I think he beat one of the corners in the league from the Titans. Now I think he beat him for 2 tutties as a freshman. And the guys just, it's natural. It's natural. So just trying to find those type of guys. Then is a run game phase. All right, again, ball carrier, right? The ability to change directions, okay? All right, and your elusiveness, okay? So those are those things that really, a lot of times it comes into your flexibility and mobility, all right? So those are things you're trying to see if you can make guys miss in space, all right? And then your home run speed, okay? So you can say home run speed and long speed, aren't those the same thing? Yes and no, all right? And I say, yes and no, okay? Because ultimately, yeah, we're talking about long distance run, but no, in regards to it's start and stop, and then how quickly can you get going and outrun the defense. All right. So I look at it a little different. You can be a fast guy, long speed, and a little bit slower. All right. In your home run speed. All right. And again, it's just watching the start and stop ability and be able to get to your top speed there. So getting to teach progression, right? You're talking about first and foremost ball carrier. All right. So ball security, 5 points in football, obviously. You know, it's great working with Autry Denson, our head coach here, still the all-time leading rusher at Notre Dame, and actually coaching our running backs. All right, so this is something that we harp on here, all right, at CSU. All right, so, I mean, there's just no excuse for any ball carrier to put the ball on the ground, especially a wideout. Situational ball handling is huge. All right, so, you know, you're talking about 4-minute drill, you're talking about 2-minute drill. All right, you're thinking about those situations, you know, and those are things you got to coach, right? You got to coach. All right. So those are things we do talk about, you know, 4-minute, right? Staying in bounds, falling down. Okay. All right. 2-minute. All right. When do you need to give yourself up? And all right, when do you need to beeline for the sideline? Okay. All right. How much time is on the clock? So again, those as a ball carrier, all right, you got to cover those situations. And that's something we do here and something I continually do with my guys. All right, and then blocking progression, right? Again, if we do another one of these, I can get into the nitty gritty in my blocking progression, my teach progression. All right, kind of just want to talk about how I evaluate, how it mirrors with my teach progression. But I think it starts with the attack phase, right? So it hits on the acceleration phase. Everything should look like a go ball. All right, that's something I'm working on. All right, that's something I'm working on with my guys. All right, the pre-phase, so that's your deceleration phase. All right. That's something, you know, again, you know, we really work on it. Okay. All right. We don't get wide bases and any of those things. All right. See if I can get this thing. All right. Creep phase. All right. So we're trying to get to that position, right, where we're going to creep 6-inch steps to that defender. All right. That should help us to get in at least that face-to-face fit position. All right. Now I talk about mirror, right? Because at some point the DB, right, he's either going to slip, all right, or knife inside, or he's going to try to scrape or slip over top, right? So at some point, we're going to have to work laterally as we're gaining 6-inch steps, right? So that's that mirror phase, all right, and then we're shooting our hands, all right, and then we're driving, right? And you know, some say drive feet, right? We talked about driving knees, right? I talk about it as if it's a prowler, right? No one's going to get on a prowler and drive their feet, right? You're not going to move it anywhere, okay? That's why I always, you know, as you see in this picture, we did the one-man sled all the time. We did the one-man sled when I was at Lehigh. All right, and I actually just found out towards the end of spring we got a one-man here. So I can't wait to get on that with the guys. All right, but really focusing on let's move men. All right, let's move men, all right, back and against their will. All right. So a few blocks, you know, again, we teach and talk about stalk. All right, push, crack. All right, cut, which, you know, might be out the door. It sounds like the NCAA is going to get rid of that soon. So we don't cut. Honestly, I wasn't a big cut guy. I figured, you know, at the end of the day, it's about man on man. All right. And you got to move guys. So now we also played Georgia the last game of the year. All right. So it's a little different story. We did try to saw those guys down as much as possible. So we're not dumb. But for me, I really just want guys to have that mentality is I'm going to put my hands on a guy and I'm going to move them. Backside cutoffs, all right, and double teams, right? Especially when you're getting some of your tight steps, your bunch sets, all right? You know, those got different blocking types, different aiming points, things of that nature, all right, that we cover. All right, route specific, all right, phase, okay? So, you know, you're talking about your route running fundamentals, okay? Recruits don't judge these guys on this and this evaluation part, right? Again, because sometimes you're just not coached it, right? But attacking leverage, stacking, all right, after a release, cutting down intercept angles. I always tell guys, any in-breaker, outbreaker, be prepared to reduce your angle. All right, and then zone windows, right? It's obviously you gotta have a feel. Okay, so evaluating guys on tape is right. Some guys are just savvy route runners, right? Whether they're coached or they just got a great feel for the game, right? Those are huge pluses for me, right? It's just one more thing you don't have to coach. All right. And that's something we definitely cover. So when we get back to evaluating recruits, all right, so when I evaluate, and I actually have an example of literally how I evaluate recruits, All right. And then I'll show you how it kind of shoots out numbers and how I kind of sort guys. All right. But I break it into your film phase, right? You know, depending on how important film is for you guys when you eat, I think film don't lie. I think at the end of the day, let's not overthink this, right? Let's not concentrate so much on these guys that look really good and run really fast and jump really high in just their underwear, right? You know, I'm all about what it looks like, you know, from a functional standpoint on the field. So when I'm looking at the combine, right, again, I'm talking about acceleration phase. Let's talk about the 10-yard split, 20-yard split, vertical, broad jump, L drill, pro agility. I'm big of an L drill. I think that shows where there's some flexibility and mobility concerns, right? You really got to roll that thing. All right, pro agility is all lateral, right? A lot of stiff dudes can be really good at a pro agility, but you get them on L drill and you'd be surprised that 4.2 pro agility, that guy's like an 8.37, all right, which is horrendous on the L drill, right? But it's because he's stiff in the hips, right? You can train all you want, but at the end of the day, you can't get the stiffness out of your hips like that. You know, and then you get the measurables, right? I'm all big about verified numbers, right? I mean, I might have been, I don't know, if I went back to my high school, I think I probably put myself at 6'2". All right, I found out on a friend bet at Notre Dame that, you know, I'm officially 5'11", 7/8", and I was heartbroken. Now I'm older now, so it is what it is, but I was verified 5'11", 7/8", right? I thought I was 6'1". You know, I thought I was at least 6 foot. Never was. All right, never was. So I'm big on verified, right? We talk about, for me, when I'm looking in priority, it goes your arm length and your wingspan before your height, right? Your arm length and your wingspan before your height, right? There's 5'10" guys that got 6'5", 6'6" wingspan. They do exist. We got 2 incoming freshmen here that are both verified 6'1.5" and both have anywhere from 6'7" to 6'8" wingspan. All right, so that's what I like. All right, that's what I like. Hand size, right? I like to have an idea, but again, I've seen dudes with 10-inch hands that can't catch, right? Hand-eye coordination, right? I use my brother as an example. I think my brother at the NFL Combine was measured at like 8.25-8.5 inch hands. All right, he caught 230-something balls at Syracuse during his time. All right, and I'm almost certain he's still top 5 in Syracuse history, right? But he had strong hands, strong fingers. All right, so those are things, it's not make or break for me with your hand size. All right, but it is a good idea to know what you got. And then your weight, right? I don't need a guy that looks like he's going to go play in the league now, right? But I also can't take a 140-pound guy, all right, that doesn't have the frame, all right? 150-pound guy that doesn't have the frame, okay? So the frame and all those things go into play for me. All right, so kicking out of this, I'm gonna unshare this, okay? And you know, I'm gonna kind of share, get this thing loaded up. So,
coaches, any questions on any of this stuff?
Oh,
if you do, just pop them in the chat box here too. Just FYI, go ahead.
Yeah, like that. Where I haven't been on Zoom forever. I'm like a newbie.
Nah, what are you looking for?
I got it now.
You got it. You're good. All right.
So the way I do it, all right, and it really has a formula to it. Okay. So this is one of the guys we watched not too long ago. All right, and you know, really tried to, you know, get his eval done. I apologize for stretching this thing out, but you know, I'm looking down here and really, you know, you're looking in this area, right? And I'll show you what these numbers mean and how we punch those through. All right. But, you know, the big thing for me is when we watch guys, again, recruiting, all right. And this is what we did this spring. Our assistant receiver coach and myself, all right, we did this with our own guys. Okay. So breaking it down, 5-point scale, right? I go off of FCS rating. All right. You know, with All-American 5, All-Conference 4, quality starter, all that. All right. If you're wondering, like, well, how do you gauge a 5? What I always do when I start recruiting a class is I always watch the best recruits in the class of 2023. Okay. So there's some really, really good players that obviously we'd love to have here at CSU. who don't, but I try to set my eyes on what those guys look like. So when I'm watching guys, hopefully we find a guy that has similar traits that, you know, maybe doesn't have the measurables, right? Because that's what we're all trying to get, right? We're trying to get that guy that you can develop into a pro. And that's what I try to end up doing. So, you know, looking at your acceleration phase, you know, we rank those. All right. If you look over to the left, we're talking about grades. So your overall grade, your film grade, again, that's priority number one for me. All right. Your combine. All right. And then your size. So all these shoot, all right, a certain score. Okay. And I kind of got rid of some of the weighted, how I weighted. But if guys want to use some type of system like this, right, you can put your weight however you want, all right, divided by whatever number it is, right? And that's where your emphasis is on how important things are, right? So, you know, this is how I end up coming up with my acceleration grade. Again, I have a different weight for each phase, all right, probably based off of my presentation. You can kind of tell which phases are more important than others, all right? And then, again, we divide by 100, spits out your grade. All right, do the same thing for the combine. If you don't have verified numbers, it's not coach talk, it's not player telling you this, it's verified, right? I don't use it, all right? I don't use it. So we do all that, divide it, all right? Again, we'll come up here, you'll get your total numbers, spit out your percentage, all right? And literally it's, I'm probably the slowest evaluator on staff, I'll be honest. Hold on real quick. Slowest evaluator on staff, but it's a process I believe in. It's detailed. We take a ton of time. All right. I'm just gonna spit out this last thing. The questions, if not. All right, but I mean, so far this is, you know, I made a copy of this. Wasn't trying to just give my stuff up real quick like that, but you know, I spit everything out here. Guys got an overall grade. All right, everything has a color code that makes sense, or why it's bold, why it's italicized. All right, you know, so if we one day say, hey, listen, we just want fast dudes, I can sort the acceleration phase and we can go and find the fastest dudes that I watched, right? I think so far I've watched 86. I think there's more that aren't on there, right? But this is how I do it, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's a system that I think is fair. I think there's, you know, there's little, you know, to no issues in regards to that. But other than that, that's all I got, Pat. So I don't know, any questions or?
Yeah, any questions from coaches? I love that stuff. I thought that was really cool. Different than stuff that we've done too. Obviously some crossover, but how you went from what you're looking at to then obviously trying to coach them up and implement it. If I'm watching this tomorrow or 6 months from now, what's the best way to reach out to contact you with questions?
Oh, I missed that slide. So
okay.
My cell phone number is 301-792-7465. Email, I'll give you just my Gmail, brandonjlemon@gmail.com. You can follow me at Coach B Lemon on Twitter. So, you know, like I said, hopefully we can get back on here. I can go into more detail on some of these things where guys want to do some individualized things. I'm trying to learn too, so.
For sure, and definitely want to do that with you. Question, do you have any easy for me to read. Do you have any specific advice on evaluating character?
I think all of us are trying to figure that out.
Sure.
I would honestly, I talked to our recruit coordinator. I would love to sit down with someone in the FBI and really find out how they vet candidates, because I think they're the only ones that really know it, you know, what to find. You know, this evaluation process is great because you just watch guys, how they interact with their teammates, with their coaches, their body language, how they handle themselves in the schools. Every now and then you'll bump into a teacher as you're walking through and you'll ask the teacher about a kid. And, you know, fortunately this spring, a lot of guys got some raving reviews, you know, and really is, you know, I gauge it, do they give you any issues, you know, when you're not around them, right? Are they a guy that you're thinking about when you're about to go to bed at night? Like, I don't know what this guy's going to do tonight. You know, so I don't know, Sam. I don't know, Sam.
Do you look at social media and stuff? I mean, obviously, the kid's not dumb enough to like put something on Twitter where he knows a coach is going to be. But do you go look at do you have a Snapchat where you can low key look at stuff, or TikTok or anything like that, where they feel like they're free sometimes?
Yeah, you'd be surprised what people put on social media now.
I see it, so I wouldn't be, but yeah.
I choose. I usually, if I see it on Twitter, I'm starting to get older from the case. I don't try to like look around, but if something pops up, but you know, my wife, every now and then I'll have her check on Instagram or see what's popping, if there's anything we're concerned with. But, you know, I tell all these guys, I treat them like men first until they prove that they're children. So, you know, I try to give them that. Maybe that's not the right thing, but I try to treat them like that because that's what they want to be treated like. But social media is huge. I mean, these guys, I don't know how many more examples you need to see to know that guys just, I mean, you can't put these things out there. But the ones that do, I guess they're not good fits. So.
Sure. Any other questions? Going once, twice, Coach. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely. I appreciate Pat.